latest little project. It's a Cobra29 with the Nightwatch, and I know a lot of people aren't a huge fan of the Nightwatch. It's really known to it's prone to going out, and that was kind of the case with this one. The Nightwatch partially worked, about half the board lit up, but I picked this up off of eBay for like 20 bucks, and the only real issue it had was a blown diode. You know, somebody plugged the radio in backwards and blew the diode on it. So when I bought it, it was for parts and not working. And it took me about 5 minutes to get this thing powered up, and it worked just fine, you know, just other than the Nightwatch. And so I actually found a new old stock faceplate for this thing, and I was going to replace that, and I decided to take it a step further. So you can see that I've replaced the meter with a white meter. Original Cobra off the 29 Chrome, just like the Whiteface meter for this, a little better. And I also replaced the stock black cases with chrome. So what we'll do is we'll flip this guy over here. All I've got left to do is hook up the speaker, and then we'll get it all buttoned up. But you can see one couple other things I did in here was one, I put in the filter cap on the DC line, 4700 microfarad 25 volt Nichicon, and that thing actually works really well. I don't even have to turn the noise blanker on now, and you actually can't even hear a difference. I'll show you guys that here when we power the radio up. The other mod that I did here, and the only other mod that I did here, was these two orange wires right here. You can see these running back to this guy. This is the Gatekeeper variable power mod. So I just followed the instructions. Gatekeeper's got a good video out on that, and just followed his directions, man, and it works great. This thing goes pretty much from 0 to a full 4 watts variable power. And what I did was I put that on the RF gain. So you can see right here is the RF gain original wires. I labeled them. So if anybody ever, if I or anybody else ever decides to bring it back to stock, you know, it's right there. And blue goes to the rear and yellow goes to the rear on the RF pot. Rear pins there. So, you know, it's labeled enough so somebody can figure it out, or I can tell them how to do it. And you can just pull the Gatekeeper mod out and it'd be bone stock again. So all I've got to do is hook these wires up for my speaker, and we'll get that soldered up, get this thing closed up, and then I'll be back. We'll power it up and show you guys what it's doing. Yeah, one other thing I forgot to mention here was I also did upgrade the power plug for this thing. So you can see this big plug is what goes in there, and that's running an 8 gauge power cord. So not that this radio really needs it, but that's something I prefer to do on all my radios. And as you can see, this is a 22-year-old radio made in China. So anyway, still does the job, and yep, we'll get her plugged in. Be back in a minute. Alright, we got this thing plugged in, and you can see here we're running 14.2 volts through the 8 gauge power cord, and we're running this with a Superstar mic. Now, we'll get her powered up here. Flip over my antenna switch because I'm still running, I was just listening on the Cobra 2000. Got a little skip going. Now I know it looks white. I know it looks white in the video here, at least it does on my screen, but that's a green LED, like a true green. so it matches the faceplate pretty dang sweet. And dimmer still works, dimmer function works on it, but you can see that the whole Nightwatch faceplate lights up now. Sound tracker works. And let's go over to the dummy load. Dummy load engaged. So right now we're over on the 10-watt scale, and let's see, mic gain is on, so you can see we are dead keying about 4.5 watts. Peaking out a little bit higher than that, so we'll go up to the 100-watt scale. About 17-18 watts peak. Now I'm going to turn the mic gain all the way down here. Well, we're still on the 100-watt scale there. Okay. So we're on the 10-watt scale. Still keying about 4.5 watts. Now what I did with that RF power mod, like I said, I put it on the RF gain switch. So the RF gain is tied in the radio at full RF gain all the time. So now this little knob here will do our variable power, and obviously the rear knob is the dynamic. So that was up all the way. 4.5. We're going to dial it down all the way on the 10-watt scale. It doesn't even register. So it'd be really nice if I had my tripod handy, then I could do this with both hands, but we'll try and do it with the one-handed operation here. I've got the RF power just dialed up a hair. You can see we're about 0.2 watts. And it's a nice smooth roll all the way up. No big jumps in power. Everything's really smooth. You can fine tune it. Let's take it down to like 1.5 watts. I'm going to turn my mic gain back up. Put her back on the 100-watt scale. Let's look at that again there. So you're hitting about 18 watts from 1.5 watts. I don't think that's too bad. And I did have this thing over here on the oscilloscope, the spectrum analyzer, and it's pretty clear. You know, it's not too bad. Not a bunch of splatter, and it's doing pretty good. So made a few contacts on it already, but you can see how good those chrome cases look on there. Let's give it a little accent lighting for you guys there in the background. And hell, let's make it green, because you know I like green stuff. Kind of like old seaweed over there, liking the green stuff. Anyway, that's that. And yeah, I think this is gonna be my little bench radio for a while. Kind of add it to the it's supposed to go right here where this external speaker is for the 2000. You can see the bracket hanging there. So I think now that this thing's done, I might just hang it back up there and kind of use that for my my test radio. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and yep, maybe one of these days you might see one of these other radios up for grabs. Got 3 148s up there. 2 of them are the Nightwatches, and I got this DX959 that I just cleaned up. And maybe we'll do some videos on those later too. Peace. Bonus footage. I'm just going to show you guys this little noise blanker, the DC line filter we put in there, that 4700 microfarad capacitor back there. And so right now you can see I've got noise blanker A and L off, and hopefully you guys can see the needle on that meter. I'm going to dial the volume up here. So you can see no audible difference now with the A and L. But that noise blanker still works, still makes a difference. Let's go to somewhere we just have static. There we go. So now you can see that capacitor is pretty much doing the job of the A&L. Of course, the sound tracker still makes a little difference. But pretty much now here, if I'm running this at the house, I can run that thing with no A&L or noise blanker, and it sounds just fine. Anyway, hope you all have a great day. Happy Memorial Day. And yeah, hope to catch you boys out on the band.